Hello everyone, and welcome to the new session of our ANSYS Meshing Masterclass. In our last sessions, we learned about different ways to control our mesh size. Today, we are going to learn a very powerful technique to control the pattern and quality of our mesh on the specific surfaces. This technique is called face meshing. It is the secret to creating beautiful, efficient, and highly accurate structured grids. By the end of this session, you will know how to take control of your surfaces to build the perfect foundation for your 3D model. Let's begin. So, what exactly is face meshing? Think of it as a special instruction we give to the computer. Instead of letting the software automatically decide the mesh pattern on the surface, we take control. We can tell it exactly what kind of pattern we want. As you can see on this slide, there are two main types. The first is the free mesh. This creates an unstructured pattern, usually with triangles. It's flexible, but not always the most efficient. The second, and the one we will focus on today, is the mapped mesh. This is the most important one. A mapped mesh creates a perfect, structured grid on face. Think of it like the grid lines on a piece of graph paper. The cells are almost all perfect quadrilaterals or quads shapes with four sides. For CFD, especially for methods like strip meshing, a structured map mesh gives us higher quality, better accuracy, and often a lower cell count. This is our goal. Let's move on to ANSYS Meshing workspace. As you can see in here, this is the two-dimensional geometry model of an injector. The point is that just half of it is model, and this is exactly because of its symmetrical nature. The other important point is that you can see some subsections. This is not a unique and unite actually service. And this means that we used a proper technique called blocking in the geometry step to establish different surfaces. And this helps us to adjust exactly the total number of elements and divisions on each of these edges, bringing us a structured grid. But the point is that we cannot simply prepare that. As you expand the mesh section, you can see several edge sizing with equal number of divisions for edges that are in front of each other. And this is one of the basic necessities when it comes to a structured grid. We did it, but unfortunately, if you generate the grid right now regarding the hard behavior that we set and we already know what's its function, still you can see that it is not a structured grid and we can see some triangle in there. And to overcome this problem, we need to use face meshing method. This is exactly the function and job of the face meshing tool. If you right click on mesh, you would find beneath the insert tab another option called face meshing. So I believe that this is our most important tool in ANSYS meshing when it comes to a structured grid. As always, what it asks is about the faces that we wanna take the control of. Of course, I need all the faces, so simply put them all and apply it. Next, it comes to definition types. So before doing any further settings in here, I just want to apply the map mesh as we talked about. We tend to use and generate quadrilateral cells, what we need for generating a structured grid. So the method would be quadrilaterals. And regarding just the default values, which is the common need for most of the simulation, we can see how it affects the structured grid and the final version of it. Very well. So one more time, if we get back to our mesh grid, without any further process and changes in the face meshing, you can see it could detect all the edge sizing that we set and successfully it could create that. So this is exactly what we aim to do by using blocking technique and then putting number of divisions equally for all the edges. And from the beginning up to the very last point of our ejector, you can see quadrilateral cells, what we call map mesh. And this is exactly what we need. So let's see what are these definition and parameters. Okay, let's look at the control panel. These are our four most important settings you will set. First and most important is mapping, yes or no. This is a main on-off switch. When we set this to yes, we are telling ANSYS, I demand a structured map mesh on this face. This is a primary instruction that you saw. It was enough for generating a structured grid or an ejector. Next is the method. Here we can choose all quote. This tells the software to try and use only four-sided cells, which is the ideal goal for a structured mesh. Third, we have constraint boundary. Think of this as a strict mode. If you set it to yes, the measure is not allowed to change the boundary edges to make the mesh fit. It must succeed with the exact geometry you have. This is good for quality control. And finally, we have a very helpful tool, show mappable faces. Before you even start, you can click this button. ANSYS will highlight all the faces in your model that are simple enough to accept a structured map mesh. This is always your first step. See which are faces are ready for mapping. So once again, in our current model, if you remember the sweeping method session, we followed base part. By right-clicking on mesh, we had a show button down here, which shows us the sweeping faces. But right now, we have another one, which is called mappable faces. And of course, as I click on that, you can see it automatically shows us what faces are mappable. And we already knew that. This is why we directly goes with face meshing and apply it on all the faces. I truly believe that this was all we needed to know about face meshing tool, but from now on, all we're saying are about the advanced controls. So consider that we have a 3D model. For a 3D model, again, we can have control over faces, or better called surfaces, again, using face meshing tool. As you can see in here, first is the internal number of divisions. This is another extra options that comes handy if you select a surface of a three-dimensional model. This is a special tool for very specific shapes. Imagine you have a long, thin rectangle like a gasket. This tool lets you tell ANSYS, I want exactly 5 layers of cells between these two long edges. So it gives you precise control over a number of elements layers in one direction. The second topic is compatibility. This is very important. Face meshing is not just used alone. It is the foundation of our 3D model. So the good news is that it works perfectly with the best structured 3D methods like sweep, hex dominant, and multi-zone that we learned in previous sessions. When you create beautiful map mesh on a surface, it allows these powerful 3D methods to create a high-quality structured volume mesh. This is how we build the best meshes. So the workflow is simple. First, you perfect the surface mesh with face meshing, and then you build your perfect 3D volume from it. As a practical example, I prepared a pipe, as you can see in here. Of course, I suppressed the fluid inside. It's just about the walls of the pipe. But in case we want to apply any CFD mesh grid on that regarding the default values, you can see what happens. So let's just consider that this was all we needed. The point is about the number of layers between two edges, as we pointed out. So this is another usages of face meshing. If we apply it on one surface of this 3D model, which is exactly between two edges, this gives us another tool that we were talking about, internal number of divisions. So I guess by default, it used 2 layers. If we change the default values, for example, to 5 layers, you can see how it affects. And this was another usages of face meshing tool. We have some other advanced controls that we want to talk about during this slide. Now, sometimes a face is a bit complex and the software needs our help to understand how we want the mesh grid to flow. We give it the help using vertex types. A vertex is just a corner point on our face. ANSYS look at each corner and decides if it is an end, a side, or a corner for the mesh grid. Think of it like roads at an intersection. An end vertex is like a dead-end street. The mesh lines stop there. A side vertex is like a gentle curve in the road. The mesh lines flow smoothly through it. A corner vertex is like a normal four-way crossroad. Usually ANSYS chooses the correct type automatically, but if your map mesh is failing, you can manually change the vertex type to guide the software and tell it exactly how the grid lines should turn and flow across the surface. It's a powerful way to fix problems on complex faces.